Another marquee game to watch, I think, is United Township taking on Geneseo. Both teams coming off of losses. For UT specifically, because they still have a very tough schedule ahead of them, is this kind of a must-win for them, do you think?
Yeah, I don't think there's any bones about it, to be honest with you. The biggest, so if you're a UT fan, this can be PTSD because they're 3-0 you're 3-0 4 years ago in 2021 with a whole new raw. It's different circumstances because that team was a bunch of young guys. It was a bunch of sophomores after a team that graduated 22 seniors. You start 3-0, you lose 5 of 6, you miss out on the playoffs by inches. And then obviously they have a couple more 4-5 seasons. I think obviously this team is light years past that, and they're very good. What happened on Friday last week, they were dominating. They were up 21-3. They had multiple opportunities at kill shots against Sterling. Credit to them. Coach Slumler is an amazing coach. They are a young team that really grew up in the second half, and UT got stuttered a few times after kind of cruising through 6 rounds, if you would say, in the boxing terminology. Then all of a sudden, Sterling threw some haymakers. UT got up on the ropes, and they could never recover. It was like a huge run in basketball. You're dying for a timeout to rally the troops, but in football, you don't really have that opportunity to really sit there and gather everybody, and UT couldn't recover. It is a must win. It's all hands on deck. It doesn't matter how ugly it is. It doesn't matter how the game goes, the statistics. If they win 3-2, you're getting on that bus and you're like, okay, we got over a mini hump in a sense, because you don't want one game to all of a sudden lose your season. And I think that this team can learn from those other, it's different players, but they can all these guys can learn from these experiences. And here's the thing too, last year UT, they lost some heartbreakers, lots of them. But they were 4-1 in games after losses. Only one time last year did they lose back-to-back games. So they were able to recover. It's going to be a tough game. Geneseo is very hard-nosed. Coach Furlong's got them going. But another game where who can dictate what up front. UT dictated the game against Sterling for a half, and then all of a sudden they were, like I said, they couldn't recover. So if they can come out, get some momentum early, I would like to think that they would be able to learn from their mistakes from a week ago and be able to kind of put Geneseo away. But Geneseo's got some good players too, and they're obviously going to be wanting to get back after Friday did not go nearly as probably what they expected when they went and traveled to Moline.
And going back to the mental battle for a second for UT, just how important, I know this is coach talk, but just how important is it for them to score first in that game against Geneseo on Friday?
It's not everything, but it's important because I mean last year, and again, it's you don't want to. Sometimes you hate to compare and contrast certain things, but last year they gave up, which is it's crazy because last year in a lot of those games, I think in the Sterling game last year they trailed 10-0. Last year against Geneseo they trailed 9-0. Geneseo scored on their first drive. UT's first drive, they snapped the ball over the quarterback's head, goes out of the end zone. It's 9-0 in the blink, and all of a sudden, oh my goodness! But then they rallied off 35 of the next like 40 something points and one going away. So to end, long story short, it's important. It's not everything, but if they can get a good start, if they can land the first blow, lean on them early. Like I said, dictating terms. Theme of the day, it seems. But if they can do that, the run game last week could never get going. And I think Coach Welch has even said to me last week after the game, he said, there are a couple opportunities where I wish I would have leaned on it a bit more. Now, granted, they had a couple guys get dinged up and at the time, and they weren't able to utilize them like they wanted to. Those guys should be ready to rock and go on Friday night, and hopefully they can lean on them more. If that is the case, if they do start early, quick, or if they do start well early on, I think it'll be big for their confidence. That's the biggest thing. It'll be like, okay, a bad half's a bad half, because at the end of the day, all of their goals are still in front of them. All of them. They didn't come into the season thinking, let's just break the playoff drought. We've talked about this. They wanted to win the league. They wanted to win every game that they could. Everything's still in front of them. They control their own destiny. Don't let one half derail your season.